We are going to talk about the 800-pound, actually it's like an 1,800-pound gorilla called inflation. 6.8% inflation. How high can we go? You know, it's not anymore how low can you go with limbo. It's how high can we go with inflation before it breaks our back. That 1,800-pound gorilla that is sitting on the back of this country eventually will crack the back, and we are going to have deflation, a falling market, and a whole bunch of people are going to lose everything. But you know what? Before we talk about the 1,800-pound gorilla, let's talk about Mr. Biden. What, in his ultimate wisdom with the debt ceiling, he comes on and says, hey, we have never not paid our debts, and we're not going to not pay our debts. We're going to raise that debt ceiling so that everybody gets paid. But I want all of you to realize what that means. What is the debt ceiling, right? We hear about it. It used to be a big deal. Now it's kind of like, oh, yeah, all right, let's raise the debt ceiling. No big deal. Here's what that would be the equivalent of. You and your bills, 1 month, you come a little bit short, and you just say, you know what? I just got to raise the debt ceiling, which means you go to your credit card, you ask them for an increase in debt in the limits, they grant it, you go out and you max your credit card out, and you say, oh, shit, I'll figure it out next week. That's what we're going to start with for What the F Happened. It's going to be an awesome week because we got a lot of shit to rant and rave and argue about. We'll be right back. All right, as always, we are here live and in charge at the studios of What the F Happened. I'm joined with my partner in crime, Mr. Snaggy. What's up, Steven?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Mid-December, we got the holidays approaching, and we got all kinds of crazy stuff happening in the markets and news. So just want to come out. You know, Biden came out yesterday. All is good in the world. The debt ceiling bill has been raised. And he says, listen, we are paying our bills. But as Chris said, if we're having to ask for increases on our credit limit without exceeding it, how is that actually paying our bill? So just hear it from the horse's mouth. It's a 9-second clip. Listen to this.
This bill will reassure all the economic markets at home and around the world. We're going to continue to pay our debts when they're due. And that's what this is all about. This bill
plain and simple right there. It makes zero sense. But listen to what you want to listen to.
All right, that's what we're going to do. The dude can't even get a sentence out in most cases, but you know what? Hey, he's leading this country, and he seems to be leading it straight down to the shitter. I don't care what your views are. I'm not getting political on this, but my God, I have never in my 44 years seen a president and an administration destroy a country so fast. It's kind of just like a Ferrari, man. That son of a bitch goes 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds.
Well, we haven't had inflation like this in over 40 years, so that makes a lot of sense, Chris, what you're saying.
Hey, you know what? Why not, man? Let's just go back and let's just do exactly what Japan did, because obviously that worked out quite well. And Japan, nothing happened. So that's kind of the route we're on. Where should we go here first? We know that inflation is 6.8% now, and that doesn't even include food or oil. So if you add those in, who the fuck knows where we're at with inflation, and who the hell cares? Because you know what? Everybody's making money right now, right? So let's be happy, because the debt ceiling and the U.S. national debt is not even an issue, because we're all making a whole bunch of money and the government's just giving that shit out for free. Oh, and they're going to pay off all my credit card debts, right? How many of you are literally lacking the intelligence of remembering that Biden, not only Biden, but also go back to Obama, and hell, probably even before that, I think even Trump said it, that they were going to wipe out all the student debts. How many of you have student debt right now that they just, the government just paid off all your student debt? Any of you? No. You see, that's a ploy so they can get elected. And then once they get elected, they're like, you know what? I don't know if we can do that, but we'll just keep talking about it because we need your vote. Make sure you show up and vote. Oh, you don't even need to show up anymore. Just mail in that little thing. And also your dead grandma, your dead grandpa, have them mail in some votes too. So anyway, off that high horse anyway.
Well, it brings up a good point though, right, Chris? Because so many people think that, the government's going to be able to save them in life, whether that's listening to them by investing in a 401k because they're giving you all this amazing tax deferred preferential treatment of your money. And then in retirement age, you're going to not have to worry about it until you pay for the taxes later on it, or whether you're banking on Social Security and we're putting all this money into Social Security. And don't worry, it's going to be there for you when you retire and you're going to get it all back. It's bullshit. If you're listening to and if you think that the government is going to save you, if you think that they have all the answers for you, you're completely lost. And they just lie to us over and over and over. And this kind of thing is exactly what we're talking about. And this is why we show these examples. They're not for you there for you. You need to learn how to control your money, control your wealth, and create your own future. Period. I mean, look at this on the screen right here. So the plan.
Circle back to that, Steven. Circle back to this article. What is she saying now?
So this is just, so the plan is to try to make people repay loans you said you'd cancel during an election year, because this press secretary, Psaki, comes out. In the coming weeks, we will release more details about our plans. A smooth transition back into repayment of student loans is a high priority for this administration. Nothing about what they said that they were going to just cancel them all out and everything, which, by the way, I'm completely against paying for somebody else's shitty education and shitty decision to go tens of thousands in debt for a shitty degree. But that's a whole nother topic.
So it sounds like it's a pretty shitty day for it.
Yes. Your student loans are not getting canceled. So get back on those repayment plans before your credit gets killed, because even if you go into bankruptcy, you still have to owe your student loans. So
it's interesting times, and listen, not all things are bad. Listen, we got this global warming thing that's been on the agenda for, the last couple decades at least. And, maybe it is an issue, for whoever out there sees it. The weather's kind of funny. Yeah, the icebergs are melting. Is it normal, or is it actually global warming? I think there's a little bit of both. I think one of the big problems is all that plastic that we seem to just dump into the ocean. Like, I'd really love, a little bit more emphasis on cleaning that up instead of let's everybody. Oh, actually, Stephen, did you hear that California, how many of you, listen, all of you, holy shit, I have to stop. There's two people that right at the same time, let's see, Oregon Patrick, love that, and Courtney Will at the exact same time said college is a scam. Listen, well said. That's straight out of TikTok. Thank you both for commenting. And it was just funny. They both said the same thing. But anyway, back to California. There was a day, not too long ago, 5 years ago, where me and my wife were talking about moving to California. Well, now I just heard that by 2024, 2025, California is going to make it illegal, or you're not going to be able to have a gas-powered lawnmower. You're going to have to mow your lawn with electric lawnmowers. So I want all of you to kind of really just think about that. Now, that might be okay if you got one of those small little yards, but let's just say you live in Northern California and you've got a couple acres of lawn. And now you have to mow your lawn with an electric lawnmower. Do you think the technology is going to get there? Do you think BYOB is going to make one of those electric mowers that's going to mow your 10-acre lot? I don't know, man. So I guess, hey, California is going to go back to the days where, hey, you don't have to mow your lawn and grass is beautiful. That's, I think, where we're going here, because you know what? No more gas-powered lawnmowers. Where do we stop? Where is it that this madness actually comes to? Do you really think that lawnmowers are what are creating global warming? It has nothing to do with lawnmowers. It has nothing to do with your cars. How about we go to China and we tell them to clean up those dirty fucking factories that pump all this garbage into the economy? Or we go to the other countries where they just dump their garbage into the rivers and into the oceans. Shouldn't we start there instead of just saying, hey, we're going to eliminate those gas-powered lawnmowers and that's going to make it so that every day is going to be sunny and there's not going to be any more pollution? What do you think about that, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, it brings up a great point. I mean, China does pollute more than any other country, and you look at what happens, and the Olympics are going to start there in 2022, and I'm usually a huge fan of the Olympics and super excited for especially the Summer Olympics and or for the Winter Olympics. But this year, I mean, just being that they're in Beijing with everything going on with all the human rights violations and everything that's happening in the political world right now, and the tennis star that they just completely killed for coming out and saying that some, party representative raped her, and she just disappeared, completely gone off the face of the earth, a huge tennis star. So, the credit to the Women's Tennis Association that said we're no longer doing business with China and is giving up billions, if not trillions of dollars of revenue by making that move. But, China came out today. I was just reading a story before we went live that said that they're going to pay millions of dollars to a firm here in New York City to hire influencers to promote the Summer Olympics, because there's a lot of pressure right now on some of these bigger corporations to boycott it. We came out and the Biden administration said that we're going to do a diplomatic boycott, meaning we're not sending over, news agencies and things like that to cover it. But, what's that really do? So it's kind of cool to see some of these association stuff actually taking action. So we'll see where that plays out. But you're absolutely right when it comes to the global warming stuff, especially.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about cleaning this world up. I feel like, I don't know whether we've crossed the point of no return where literally like we've just done enough damage, or, if you look back to COVID, when everybody stopped driving, all the factories were shut down. And I don't know, but did anyone really pay attention to how the pollution levels dropped very quickly? This earth can fix itself very quickly, but we have to start with where the real big problem is. And that is not your gas powered lawnmower. Now, maybe that's just kind of part of the plan, and I'm all for it. And, somebody here on TikTok did comment, that, we didn't think we'd have planes and rockets. Very true. And now where are we? And, there are 0-turn lawnmowers that run on batteries, and maybe the technology's there. You know what? Maybe the technology's there where we can eliminate cancer too. But, you think that's ever going to happen? Oh, no. Way too much money in cancer treatments and way too much money in cancer drugs to ever do what is right and eliminate cancer. Now, that's a speculation. I don't know if there's really a cure for cancer, but I have to, in my heart of hearts, believe that there really is. And what else can we cure? What other things is there actually an answer and a cure and a solution for? Yet sometimes money takes precedence over what's right for humanity. And, all this big push for green energy and everything else, love it, love certain aspects of it. Do I think they needed to print trillions and trillions of dollars to solve it? Nope, because that's not going to solve the problem. It's going to put more money in lobbyist pockets, more money in attorneys' pockets, more money in consultants' pockets, because some of these bridges and these infrastructure deals will never get off the ground. It's been proven in the past, and I doubt it will happen. But hey, I'm hopeful. I hope it does happen. So anyway, let's get into.
Chris, so Elon Musk, just came out this week. Time named him the person of the year, which, in my opinion, well deserved. Just always on the innovative front 100%. Of everything that we're doing with space exploration and everything he is doing with Tesla and electric vehicles and the push for all that. But Elon came out this week and said that he's launching a new initiative that is actively finding ways to pull carbon out of the atmosphere and turn it into rocket fuel, which is going to, drive his exploration to Mars and beyond. So, technology in the past has always been our savior, so to say, for anything, right? So 100%. Why is it that we don't think that we'll find a way to develop and innovate a way to fix this climate change issue, if it is man-made and if it is due to carbon, stuff like that? So people like this right here, well-deserved, and congratulations to Elon Musk. And he's becoming more and more vocal. I mean, I can kind of show you some different things that he's been saying, but it's fascinating to imagine. And I do think that is where the future is with the answer for this.
I agree. And, I got a comment on Devin Ray's post here from Facebook. He said, free markets solve problems. We have literally gotten so deep into this modern monetary theory or Keynesian economics or whatever that we have literally forgot all about Austrian economics. And I urge every single one of you, just Google Austrian economics and understand what that means, because this is what giant insurance companies subscribe to. It's what they believe in. It's what they invest based on. And Austrian economics is exactly what Devin just said. Free markets solve problems. But you see, what we do in this country and in this global economy is we try to manipulate the markets, the natural cycles. We try to manipulate and fix everything when things can just fix themselves, whether it's the stock market, whether it's the economy, whether it's the climate control. Now, I know in California, they got a lot of fires that happen out there, and I saw it firsthand when I was flying over Arizona and California last year traveling. There was fires everywhere, and I got to ask the question, like, what is the reason for the fires? Is it someone smoking? So, let's get some people to quit smoking. Let's try that one. Or is it people leaving fires going? Or Could it be, because I thought it was kind of funny that, when the election and all this stuff was going on, holy shit, was there not a fire every single day on the news? Was it the news just highlighting it, or were they actually going out and starting the fires? Listen, that's conspiracy theory stuff, but like, how much is true and how much isn't? I've gotten to the point now, me and my wife, who my wife loves watching the news, we don't even turn the news on. I refuse to listen to the news. I don't care if it's Fox News or CNN, because they are all just a complete bullshit line of crap. And I don't care what you listen to or how you listen to it. Like, they all have an agenda that they're pushing. I'd say there's a couple people that maybe don't have as much of an agenda, but what do you actually believe? What I believe is exactly what Devin said. Free markets solve problems. But will we ever get back to Austrian economics? Will we ever get back to free markets? I will tell you, we will not, unless we have a complete failure of the current system. And we're not going to have a complete failure of the current system until who knows when. We can't time the markets. But I love that he said that, because it is a very interesting thing. And, a lot of people are coming in here with great comments here. No due diligence with prescripted burns. For prescribed burns.
And the leaders in California said that at the time. It wasn't highlighted on the news, but you can watch the interviews yourselves. Again, do you want to listen to what they're telling you on the news, or do you want to listen to your own lying eyes, right? But you can hear the leaders admit that Gavin Newsom came on and said, yeah, it's mismanagement of forest management, of controlled burns, of controlling it. I mean, here in Florida where I live, they do it all the time. They're constantly clearing out forest areas. And I know it's a different animal, but they admit to that. So it's not anything that's conspiratorial. It's just, what are you going to listen to? What you're being told, or what you actually hear and see?
Yeah, Steven, I got to give some credit to some people here on TikTok. We got Instagram over here too, but nobody really comments on Instagram anymore. There's very few. So, we urge every single one of you, whether on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, like, comment on this. I love hearing this. And we got a unique thing that just came through. I'm trying to find it. Somebody had just said, where the heck is it here? Somebody had just said that, this thing with like banning electric motor or banning gas powered mowers creates innovation. And I think, here we go. Darber Car 555, banning gas mowers drives innovation. Elon got into electric cars long before Teslas were a trend. Man, that's important. That's not even something we could argue with, because that's absolutely the truth. Is, when you create legislation and you create these laws banning things, it forces companies and people like Elon to push the envelope to create things that are not created today and make things better. It's just, how far do we want to push it, and how many of our freedoms do we want to take away to hit these agendas? That's, I think, where the difficult thing comes. But hey, listen, I think that's a great comment. Do you agree with tariffs on importing goods? I certainly agree with tariffs. Let's see. Look where we are now, doing way more with electric cars. Yeah, I agree. Hey, listen, the electric car thing, it's here to stay. It's not going away. But, and when they put these restrictions on car manufacturers, it pushes innovation. I mean, look at the new Hummer. I mean, that thing's pretty badass. I'm all for it. But if you push too fast, too hard, then you're going to basically create issues. And we see some of those issues right now. We don't have the infrastructure to support that many electric cars and electric mowers. We simply do not. The power grids are not there. They can't support it. I mean, how many blackouts do you guys have out there in California? You guys, ready for blackouts every single week? Because I don't know. I wouldn't want to be ready for that. And, what are we going to do if we get blackouts? Well, we're going to put a gas-powered generator in. Isn't that defeating the purpose of electric and clean energy? You now just put a gas-powered generator to support your house and your living and your lifestyle, because, hey, our grids, our electric grids can't quite handle everything that's going on. It's just, there's a counterbalance, there's a give take for everything that's being done, and it's very difficult. And, when you're talking about investing, I mean, how deep do you go into one sector? If we're pushing this green energy elective and everything else, do we go all in with our investable dollars and buy all these different companies like Tesla and Rivian and all these other electric companies, or companies that are pushing solar? Do we go all in there with the risk that when the next administration comes, they roll back everything? That's the thing. You got every 4 years a new, possibly a new president, a new, political agenda. And if the one agenda is all oil, I'm not going to say Trump was all oil, but he was very pro oil, made us energy efficient in this country. Then you have this new administration come in and they literally stopped our oil, independence. And now we're pushing this green energy. So in a couple more years, are we back to oil? And then is oil the thing to invest in and we lose all the money in electric? Like, where is the counterbalance? Stephen, what do you have to say about that?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're spot on. And we could definitely talk a little bit about gas prices and what that looks like. But I see a lot of comments coming in about Elon. And I just wanted to show you, this is, I think one of the reasons Elon's become so popular and kind of the forefront of a lot of this is if you look at the screen here that I'm sharing, Chris, and I know they can't see it on TikTok and Instagram yet, but
I'll show it on TikTok.
It's just an exchange that Elizabeth Warren and Elon had on Twitter yesterday.
I love this.
Elizabeth Warren came out and said, let's change the rig tax code so the person of the year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else. So just that on its face is absurd. Elon Musk is going to pay more in taxes this year than any other individual in the history of America. So that's just a pure bullshit lie, right? But then Elon doesn't come back and argue or anything like that. He just says, stop projecting. You remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everyone for no reason. And
who's ever had one of those angry moms?
Don't call the manager on me, Senator Karen. So he just messes with them because he knows it's all such bullshit. He's just like, I don't even have to defend myself. I can just make fun of you and it works the same.
Yeah, and Don4JC1 on TikTok just came in, and this is an interesting thing. And some of you might be too young, whether you're on TikTok or that, but some of you are going to remember this. Anyone know what hydrogen is? Like, hydrogen is pretty badass, and it does not create much pollution, and it also does not cost hardly anything. So why wouldn't we go back to proven technology? Because hydrogen is 100% proven, has been for centuries. Why wouldn't we go back to hydrogen? And Don, I would pose the question to you and everybody else on here. Why don't we? I'll give you one answer. Follow the dollar. There's no money in that, bud. There's no money in hydrogen. And that's why too many people don't talk much about what we do with the infinite banking concept. There's not much money in it. Most advisors don't like the infinite banking concept because, hey, they get paid 60 to 90% less in commission. And then you could just take that and you could look at that on everything. Why don't you get the truth about money? Why is it the banks won't put your money where the banks put their money? Well, it's because there's no money in it. Why is it that, we're always pushing big pharma when big pharma might not be the answer because there might be another drug out there that costs pennies when they're pushing things that cost thousands? Well, follow the dollar. So, Don, I think the biggest, most logical and simplest answer to that is no freaking money in it, bud. And I think if you or anybody else tried to come out and create an initiative like Elon did with electric and Tesla, if you tried pushing an initiative of hydrogen, I would have to believe that your ass would be floating down one of the rivers in this country face down. It has happened in the past. There was a guy that created an engine that ran solely on water. And how many of you would love for your car? You just go out and you just dump some water in it, right? Kind of like, the Back to the Future DeLorean. You just put whatever garbage in there and it just created energy. What if that was real? Well, it won't ever be real because there isn't any money and nobody can figure out how to make money on it. So unfortunately, we are stuck in a world where a lot of the technologies and the things that really could change the way we live, change the planet, change everything, there's just no money in it. So therefore, we may never know. There may never be, we may never know about the cure that's been around for centuries for cancer, if there is one, because there ain't no money in it. And that is sick. Absolutely sick. Stephen, what other topics? We got a lot of stuff to get over here, and I don't want to keep talking about hydrogen and solar. I mean, I got some stuff on Bitcoin that I really want to talk about because it's pretty fascinating to see, and I know it's a popular thing. What else here?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk more about inflation and the debt ceiling and whatnot. I mean, that's not exactly the most exciting stuff. I just want really, people to realize, what we're being told. Like, this is a great example right here. Like, the White House keeps coming out and telling us that everything's going great, everything's good. Back in July, on the 4th of July, they came out and said the cost of a 4th of July cookout this year is down 16 cents from last year.
Oh, I remember that.
You're saving us 16 cents on a huge 4th of July blowout party. And that's supposed to be impressive. And then they just came out yesterday and they're bragging about the average price of gas is down nearly 10 cents per gallon since last month's peak. So it's down 10 cents. But then if we zoom out, which, I can do here in a second, and we could take a look at, what it actually looks like over the last 12 months, you kind of get a little bit different of a picture. So I just wanted you to realize, like, when you hear things like inflation's okay, it's going to be all right, we're raising the debt ceiling, the Build Back Better is going to pay for itself, even though the CBO tells us that it's going to add $5 trillion to our debt. Like, maybe you don't want to believe everything that you're hearing, and maybe it's time for you to start thinking, let me think for myself about my finances, about my financial future, and what I plan on doing.
Absolutely. So Oakmont Valley said, back to tariffs. So this person wants to talk about tariffs. And I'm not an expert in tariffs. Are you, Stephen? But it says it's now I don't know, duopoly in the States, went from 450, I'm trying to read this, a ton. Now it's 65.85 a toonie, or I'm not really quite understanding that, but here we go. We got a chart up on the screen on this.
Just showing you, like, when you pull back a year, so they're bragging about a 10-cent decrease, but this is since the beginning. Like, that's a hell of a chart for them to be bragging about that, So it's just, we see it over and over and over and over and over again. It just,
well, hey, Stephen, I've got the answer to that. It's like, hey, everybody, over here. It's like your little dog, right? Over here. Here's the treat. Ignore that gas went up more than 100%. Over here, it's down 10 cents. Over here. Yeah, pay attention over here.
Forget that Russia's taking over Ukraine and walking all over us. Forget that China's eating our breakfast for shit for freaking breakfast every day. Forget everything that's happening. But hey, we dropped to 10 cents. Woo! 16 cents for 4th of July. It's insane, man.
Hey, listen, man, you got to give it to the government and to White House, man. Marketing. All of you on here, if you run a business, understand it's all marketing. Just, over here, folks, over here. Just look over here. We got the goods. Want a treat? Want a treat? Yeah, that's what they're doing, folks. They are lying to us over and over again. They are stealing from us through inflation and taxation. And if you think inflation and taxation is any different, you're fucking.
And then you have
go somewhere else. It's just insane,
Chris. And then you have the Democratic arm of the news media, CNN, coming out telling us. Is that popping up? So according to CNN Business now, inflation is actually good for everyday Americans. It's only bad for rich people.
Oh, yeah, we got to go here. All right, I need everybody commenting on this. Why inflation can actually be good for everyday Americans, but bad for the rich folks. Okay, please explain this one to me, Stephen. What do they say? Squirrel over here, squirrel. How can inflation be good for the everyday American? What the groceries, like the peas on the shelf that you're paying more for? Or is it the 10 cents we just took off of the gas price because we opened up the private reserve of oils? That didn't do anything. Shit, dude. COVID, the new variant did a better job of decreasing gas prices because of fear of the whole market falling out again. And then they're like, oh, no, this one's not as bad. Yes, more people are catching it, but the symptoms aren't as bad. It's like a flu, but you just got a couple little coughs. Anyway, what are they saying? What's the squirrel on this one?
It's just that your home prices are rising. So the home that you're in has the same mortgage payment, but your house is worth more. Okay. Everything's going up. So your wages are going up as well. They don't mention in here that wages are going up at less of a pace than inflation. So you're still net losing freaking money. It doesn't mention that your savings is worth zero. It's saying that rich people are the only people with savings. Oh, there's a light at this end of the tunnel. It just could take a couple of years. Insane, man.
It is.
I mean, I'm not even going to read the rest of this article.
I'm just going to leave Sean Dinnan's thing squirrel up the rest of the show. So I apologize to anybody that's commenting on Facebook, on YouTube, or any of the channels over there, because that right there sums up today's What the F. And if you guys have not seen the movie Squirrel, then please watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and you will understand what we mean. That is the perfect sum up. So somebody over here on TikTok said something, and I'm going to call this person out because it's very important. And the name is the $1 Billion Man. Ooh, that's a sexy name. The $1 Billion Name. That's his handle. So all of you should follow.
Sean likes it.
Name. Yeah, Sean loves it. And it says, I worked for the government's largest accounting agency and PR for DOD. No comment. The $1 Billion Man, how are you going to do that to us? Come on, man. I mean, come on. Like, you can't just do that to us. Tell us.
What was the comment?
Do you know? What do you know that we need to know? We can have a private chat. You can DM me. We'll keep it complete. I'll sign a confidentiality agreement. What do you know, man?
What was the comment?
The comment was, I work for the government's largest accounting agency and PR firm for DOD. No comment. You can't post that, man. You can't not tell us what you know, because you know stuff that's the truth, and we want the truth. And I know the fucking truth hurts, but give it to us, man. God, I'm like salivating right now.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Our man on here who worked for the government's largest accounting, like, hey, they cooking the books over there, man. What are they doing to the accounting? What do we need to know, man? Come on. I see you. Watching you. Don't worry, we got time. We can lose all the people watching, waiting for you. What do you know?
Well, while we're waiting on that, I can tell you what the Fed is saying.
Oh, and here we go. All right. So somebody wants to argue. Stephen, let's get yours. And then we got an argument coming on here, and people love the arguments. Let me get
bring on the argument. Let's go. We'll come back.
No. Hold on. I got to put my boxing gloves on. Hold on. You do what you got to do. I'm going to warm up here. I gotta try to. Come on.
You warm up a little bit, and in the meantime, the Fed is.
I'm warmed up, man. I was at the gym this morning. I'm ready to freaking rumble. What do you got?
Right. So while you're warming up for that, the Federal Reserve is expected to take a big step toward a rate hike. So they're expected to announce today a more rapid transition away from its easy policies after its meeting today, as it sets the stage for the first interest rate hike next year. A lot of people are saying it's going to come much earlier than expected next year as well. The Fed is also likely to provide a new description of how it views inflation and acknowledge that it no longer views it as transitory, which we've been saying on this show since we started the freaking show.
The damn show.
One wild card that market pros are watching closely is what the Fed says about its $8.7 trillion balance sheet and whether it tips when it might start to shrink it. So we'll see what happens today with this meeting. Stay tuned.
Well, if they start, easing up on that and raising the rates, that's going to be the freaking first domino that goes down. All right, if you like that video, make sure you check out this video right now. And also, don't forget, subscribe to my channel, and don't ever forget to smash that alert button. We'll see you on the next one.